Hello, good morning. I'm Janpha Thadphoothon, a teacher of the English language from the Faculty of Arts, Thurikit Bandit University in Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. And my show uh, is called English in the Garden. This morning is a lovely morning on the outskirts of Bangkok. I'm not in the garden actually. I'm in my common room, the library, not actually the office. And my university has many beautiful gardens. Is you can say that is the greenest campus in possibly in Bangkok or Thailand at large. So but this morning, what I'm going to share with you is a book actually by one of my favorite authors, Bill Bryson. And if you are a big fan of the author, you will know that one of his seminal works, one of his popular books, is this one, Sunburn Country. Later, the name is called Down Under, if I'm not mistaken. So he wrote it around the 80s, the 1980s, around like 30 years ago. But many characters, many scenes, the places, the people, and the context, that's very relevant to what he is describing in the book here. So I myself have been to Australia. You know, I got my education there, and I pretty much enjoy reading this particular book. Uh, One thing about reading is that you can read silently. Actually, this is the original meaning of reading. When you read, you don't sound out. You do it silently because silent reading. But another um, way to read is to read aloud. We have the term think aloud. To read out loud. Reading aloud can actually help to what we call to check to monitor your ability to understand the sound system, to read and to put a bit of feeling into the language, especially if you are teaching the English language. uh, One thing you need to do is practicing sounding out or reading aloud. Let English come out of your mouth, not from talking, but also from reading the written text. And I'm going to show you an example. This is chapter 1, by the way. I'm going to read this to you. Flying into Australia. And this is chapter 1, by the way. Flying into Australia. I realized with a sigh that I had forgotten again who their Prime Minister is. I am forever doing this with the Australian Prime Minister. That is, committing the name to memory, forgetting it, generally more or less instantly, then feeling terribly guilty. My thinking is that there ought to be one person outside Australia who knows. But then Australia is such a difficult country to keep track of. On my first visit, some years ago, I passed the time on the long flight reading a history of Australian politics in the 20th century, wherein I encountered the startling fact that in 1967, the Prime Minister by the name of Harold Holt was strolling along the beach in Victoria when he plunged into the surf and vanished. No trace of the poor man was ever seen again. This seemed doubly astounding to me. First, that Australia could just lose a Prime Minister. Prime Minister. I mean, come on. And second, that news of this had never reached me. The fact is, of course, we pay shamefully scant attention to our dear cousins down under. Not entirely without reason, of course. Australia is, after all, almost empty and it's a long way away. Its population back then was just about 18 million, is small by world standards. China grows by a larger amount each year, and its place in the world economy is consequently peripheral. As an economic entity, it ranks about level with Illinois. Its sports are of little interest to us, and the last television series it made that we watched with avidity was Skippy. From time to time, it sends us useful things: opal, merino wools, yellow fringe, and the boomerang, but nothing we can actually do without. Above all, Australia doesn't misbehave. It is stable and peaceful and good. It doesn't have coups, regulate overfish, armed disagreement, dispose grow coca in provocative quantities, or throwing waste around in a bash and unseemly manner. Uh, so what I'm just show you is one way to read. That is reading aloud. When you read aloud, you got a chance to practice your pronunciation, your pauses, the feeling that you put into the text. You are actually uh, a living, bring life to the written text. Of course, you can read silently before you read aloud. You read silently first. And I want to know whether you you can understand my reading aloud, my out loud reading, by the way. So it's just my method of language learning. That is to do whatever you can to produce, to use the language, and to interact with others. So my message to you today is do read every day and read a variety of genres or text types, and occasionally you should read out loud or read aloud so that you can listen to yourself or you can share the story to other people. I'm Janpha Thadphoothon. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.